Hello and welcome once again to the pre-season. Oh, actually, this might be one of the first videos that I do this year, but anyway, F1 season is starting once again. We already saw all the presentations of every single team, which we will see right now, starting from Haas. And you can see something interesting here, actually. That is, look at this. Look at this. This is new, and I think we didn't see in other teams this kind of solution, if I am not mistaken, right? So this is something interesting about the Haas team. I don't know if other teams will copy it or not. But one thing that we will see in many cars actually this year is the color black. Why, you might wonder, most of the teams are gonna be choosing the color black. Actually, it's not black color, it's gonna be carbon fiber color. Because with the paint alone, they can save like some kgs of weight. Right, the problem that most of teams had last year was that they had some overweight, let's call it, right? They had to do some diet during the winter and during the past year research, whatever they were doing for this year's car. And here we have the results, right? We have most of the teams, as you will see, have opted by painting the car as little as possible. Not some teams like Red Bull, for example, which already have a very light chassis, but others like Haas, you will see. Red Bull, you will see that, for example, here there's like black areas, which is carbon fiber color. You will see the Williams as well. Didn't change much. I was actually hoping Williams was gonna change with Golf coming into play, like more into, let's say, orange kind of McLaren style when they had that Monaco livery. I don't remember which year it was, 2021 if I'm not mistaken. I was expecting something like that, more beautiful, right? I think this blue, I don't know, I'm like a classic with those like white, blue and yellow Williams from the 90s. I don't know. Still, it's okay. But you will see that most of the cars are going to be more or less the same as last year. Not big technical changes. You can see here, for example, some teams are going to be kind of implementing some new stuff, new ideas in that area, trying to reduce the package as much as weight as possible, trying to make the airflow more efficient, and so on. The Alfa Romeo, as you can see here as well, you can see very clearly the carbon fiber color. They didn't even paint it, only this red stuff here. It's kind of like a transition into the Audi era, right? And you can see here some solutions at the back of the car, on the side, sorry. And bits and bits here and there, but most of the cars are gonna be more or less the same as last year. We have the Alfa Tauri changing some colors as well. Here they have the red color, which I think, for me, one of the most beautiful cars so far. It's the Alfa Tauri. The Aston Martin, more or less the same as last year. I mean the colors, right? I mean the package of the car. You cannot see it here, but here they made some changes, like behind the wheel, which would be the start of the underfloor. They made some changes. The AirPods are more Red Bull-ish. Here as well, they copied a little bit from Ferrari, copied a little bit from Red Bull. McLaren, which are gonna be more or less as well as last year. Ferrari, the side pods, as you can see, they made some changes in the car here. Still, as you can see, I don't know if you noticed so far or not, but the solution that Haas is adopting in this area of the car, so far nobody else has it. So will it be efficient? For me, this is the most beautiful car of the season. I am really happy that they are continuing with the zero pod. You cannot see it in this picture, but anyway, these are just for references. Mercedes, for me, is the most beautiful car of the grid this year. You can see here that the transition from the carbon fiber to the black, which they only painted. As you can see here, there's a line. Only this is painted. The rest of the car is carbon fiber. Of course, this green and gray areas, no, but they opted to save, they say, up to almost 6 kg just in painting. 6 kilograms. I don't know how much it is in pounds. If you live in one of those imperial systems, you can calculate yourself. But honestly, this weight reduction is epic. Let's remember that for the driver, it's 80 kg. with the driver, the helmet, and all the equipment that they have. If it's less than 80 kg, then they can put some balance in the cockpit or wherever to reach to that 80 kg. The engine, I don't remember if it was 170 something kg or 50 something kg. And the car as a whole should be 798, if I am not mistaken, could be wrong. But then anyway, it's I think it's 2 kg lighter than last year. But still, I am really happy with the Mercedes, with the zero pod, continuing with this idea. I hope they can optimize it and make it work, and they can go back into the challenge. Once again, we have the Alpine. As well, as you can see, a lot of black areas trying to save paint for the season. We will see in the pre-season, because most of those cars, except for the Alfa Romeo, and you saw the picture of the Haas, and with the anti-rolling stuff, innovation on the back, the Mercedes, I think most of those cars, like Red Bull and others, were kind of like just a livery presentation. They will not present the actual car until they are testing in the pre-season in Barcelona and Bahrain, I believe. Because of course nobody wants to have their ideas copied, right? Especially from Red Bull, that this year, as you know, they will have some penalties in the wind tunnel and development due to the cost cap breach that we had this huge gossiping thing in last year during the season to see what was the penalty gonna be like. So the cars have been presented, and we know that we have all the races except for China this year once again. Probably China will be back in 2024 in the calendar. So what's it gonna be like? Let's see some predictions before we see any action and times in the track. We more or less is gonna be the same as last year. I mean, Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes should be kind of in the front, and then there will be a small gap between the Mercedes and the rest, which should be Alpine, McLaren, perhaps Aston Martin, and Williams again is expected to be at the back. So let's see what's gonna happen. The team's champion, I'm gonna go crazy, and I will say Mercedes. I hope they made some good advanced developments in the car with the zero pod finally working. There's no porpoising anymore. They have one of the strongest pair of drivers in the grid. And their car is one of the best managing the tires, so I hope, and I really hope, they can actually be in the battle for the championship this year. Perhaps not in qualifying our sprint races, but yes, on Sundays on the races. Let's see how it goes. I think Mercedes, if they can make it work, could be one of the best surprises for the championship. The driver champions, I will say Charles Leclerc, who is gonna win with the new team principal, Frédéric Vasseur. Implementing, let's say, more logic, fixing those strategy issues that Ferrari had last year, by especially with Leclerc, right, which should be their driver number one. So I think Charles Leclerc, if everything goes right, perhaps saying, as they are saying in the paddock, that Ferrari gained some extra power in their engine, might be the world champion. Red Bull is the beating team, the team to beat, but they have some penalties, so perhaps towards the end of the season other teams might catch the Red Bulls, and let's see how it goes. The runner-up should be Max Verstappen. If it's not the champion, I think it's gonna be the second one, and let's see how that goes. The pole king, I'm gonna say Max Verstappen is gonna make 10 pole positions, starting with the car as strong as it was last year. I think at the beginning of the season especially, it might be the strongest car, and then perhaps the Mercedes and the Ferrari are gonna be catching up slowly. The race king, I'm gonna say Max Verstappen once again, 12 victories. However, we have 23 races, and maybe some reliability issues could play in favor of Charles Leclerc. Let's see how it goes. I am just going crazy, who knows. Biggest surprise of the season, Nick De Vries. I think people don't realize how fast this guy is. He has been F2 champion, he was the Formula E champion, and basically every single car that this guy touched, he became champion. F1 is going to be much more difficult because there's differences in the cars, as perhaps in Formula E, but not as big as in F1, because if you are not in the front cars, you cannot win. But anyway, I think Nick De Vries is going to be one of the biggest surprises of the season. We have Nico Hülkenberg coming into Haas, we have Logan Sargent as the rookie, We have some team changes like Alonso going to Aston Martin, Gasly going to Alpine. But I think the biggest surprise might be Nick De Vries. Biggest team surprise, Alpine. I think Alpine might be giving a step forward in the midfield and getting a little bit closer to the Mercedes and to the front pack. Hopefully. I mean, this is what we want, right? Like the breach between the lap times of Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes and the back, like the ones a little bit in the back, like Alpine, McLaren, if maybe Aston Martin, the Alfa Romeos catching up a little bit to the front. Let's see how it goes. Alfa Romeo, it's gonna be an interesting thing to watch because this year is the last year of the agreement between Sauber and Alfa Romeo, and Alfa Romeo is not renewing, as we know, because Audi is coming into the game in 2026. So this year, let's see what's gonna happen with the development, and especially in 2024 and 25, what's gonna happen with Sauber, because without the backup of Ferrari as they had this year, well, how is the team gonna develop? Is the development gonna stop? Who's gonna be in charge of the team? Let's see how it goes. How Audi is gonna be playing into this, because of course Ferrari doesn't want Audi to copy their ideas and their stuff. So let's see how Sauber is gonna be playing their cards in the next 3 years. But anyway, biggest team disappointment, I'm gonna say AlphaTauri. We saw how badly they finished last season. I mean, they started kind of in the P10-ish positions fighting, but if you see at the end of the season, it was a huge disappointment. Like Gasly was fighting for P16s and 18s, and Tsunoda, I mean, it was a really go down, and I don't think it's because they were letting go the car to try to develop the car for this year. Well, I could be wrong, but I think checking the past of the team, how it goes, usually the AlphaTauri starts the season in a kind of P10-ish position, and because of lack of economical power and resources, they usually go slightly at the back. But especially last season, I saw it really bad. So let's see how this plays into hand. For me, I think other cars like Williams with the new investors, and especially now that every team is making money, let's see how this plays. But I think AlphaTauri might be the biggest disappointment. Aston Martin is gonna be like finishing in the P10-ish, as we saw in the end of last season. They recovered a lot of time. They started the season at the back. They are in the P10. Let's see how they go this season with all the advancements that they made. With someone like Alonso in the team, let's see how this goes. But anyway, first time winner, I'm gonna go with Lance Stroll. One of those crazy races. The first 3 teams, all of them won a race at least. In the Alpine, Gasly and Ocon won a race at least. And we have other drivers like perhaps Norris could Piastri. So I think Lance Stroll, and perhaps in a crazy race like Baku or something, it could happen. However, let's remember there are 6 drivers in the top 3 teams that are like, if anything goes right or anything doesn't go wrong, they should be the ones to win a race. I mean, imagine the picture of how many people have to crash, how many bad things, how many different situations need to occur in the race. So all 6 drivers cannot win the race. So I don't know, just a crazy idea. I think it's gonna be very difficult that we see a first-time winner this year. But if somebody's gonna be, I think let's throw a ball into the court and say Lance Stroll. Crash prone, well, we have 2 rookies this year. We have Piastri and Logan Sargent. I think Logan Sargent, checking that he might be, let's say, like in a more difficult car like the Williams, under pressure. He's a USA driver in a competition now controlled by the USA, a lot of expectations and the pressure on him. And of course, he's a rookie like Piastri, but Piastri has had the experience of being like in Alpine, for example, in the past, to drive the car. I think Logan Sargent, usually from rookies, you're expected them to have some accidents, looking to see where is the edge of the car. So I think this is gonna be the case. We saw Joe Guang Yu last year having some accidents here and there. So I think Lucan Sargent might be. These are my predictions. So let's see, at the end of the month we have the preseason testing and then the first race in Bahrain. So let's stay in touch, and at the end of the season we can check if this video was right or not. Stay tuned for more videos. See you next time.